Magdi Kalani report, and now welcome our guest, very old friend of mine, not old in age.
I'm afraid I am, but
Pat Lancaster, sort of old-fashioned journalist, or still young journalist, all the way from Woodford, Essex.
That's
Welcome,
right.
Pat.
Thank you. Thanks, Adel.
I must tell you, she's not an Essex girl, actually. She is a Lancashire girl.
Absolutely proud Lancastrian.
Lancaster, and because we had we had someone from Birmingham, not from Birmingham. Where do we have actually from? Oh, let me repeat this one. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was going to make a joke about the last guest who was from Yorkshire. Never mind. Sorry, I forgot her name. Alzheimer kicking in. Magdi Kalani report. Welcome, Pat Lancaster, the editor-in-chief of the Middle East Magazine Group. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Adel.
You came all the way from Woodford, Essex, but you are not an Essex girl. You are a Lancashire girl.
That's right. I'm from Lancashire, proud Lancastrian.
You see, we are balanced. Last time we had a stand-up comedian from Yorkshire. Now it's Lancashire.
Goodness me. Is there anything funny about Yorkshire?
Well, no. Last time we had.
You know, there's this rivalry between
I
the
know,
two
I know.
counties.
Our viewers are very aware, you know. And we should have only a red and a white rose just to be absolutely, totally balanced and impartial.
Absolutely.
Now, the report actually was talking about the Carolean failure. Have we been there before?
It's endemic now, isn't it? I mean, it seems to be that we've got into a situation where everyone pays themselves first. And I think this is good. I mean, we have this even in the House of Commons, don't we?
That's right,
The
with the
MPs
expenses scandal.
Exactly.
The banks, almost 10 years ago now.
Absolutely. Again, millions of pounds in bonuses, and the rest of us were asked to pay.
Taxpayer give them the money, give it to themselves.
Yeah.
But we also remember when you actually took over around the Middle East Magazine in the 1970s, when it would take us 6 months to wait for a telephone line. So we'll say because it's also going on for our viewers in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Public sector and private sector put the money, but it's gone too far, isn't it?
I think
school meals and all of that.
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, I do remember those times very well when you had to wait and there was nothing else to do. You had no recourse. There was nobody you could go to. That's right. But I mean, now I think it has gone.
It's so
Yeah.
I mean, do they collect rubbish in your council, these people, the Carolean or not? Because they do it.
They don't.
In my councils, I don't know what to do.
I think
which is going bad that way.
Heard you speak about that before and said that they haven't collected sometimes for weeks at a time.
Yes, that's right.
No, we've got. We are very well looked after. In fact, on the way here today, I had to walk past all my garbage that had been duly emptied at 7:30 this morning.
Oh
so.
well, right. I should probably move to Essex. Now, actually, speaking about sort of the traditions and Lancashire and Yorkshire and so on, we were talking about because this year will be the 65th year of the coronation of the Queen.
Of course, yeah.
Before your time.
Yeah.
I remember.
Just.
No, I remember before. Because our parents, my mum was in tears. She was actually, until her death, she was still calling her Princess Elizabeth.
Really, was she? Gosh.
It was all the time because of the Alzheimer. But it is a great institution we have, the Queen. And
I mean, I was brought up with the royals. You know, my mother, who's from Northern Ireland, is a very keen royalist. And in fact, you're speaking about the coronation. Most people, I know I come from a working class community in Lancashire, and most people got their television in 1953 in order to watch the coronation. In fact, if there had been no coronation, maybe there'd been no televisions in Lancashire. I have no idea.
Oh, that's quite interesting, actually. That is sort of thing. And there are certain events I remember also in Egypt and Middle East countries where suddenly spring of actually people buying television.
Yeah.
And in those days, you actually paying few shillings every week.
That's right. Yeah.
For the
Exactly.
television. It costs more. I think the Queen was actually talking for. I don't actually recall her talking frankly like that about the weight of the cow.
No, neither do I. I don't remember her speaking in this way. It's quite charming to see her now as an elder. Let's face it, she's an elderly lady now, and still with a what seems to me a very keen sense of humour. Did you see when she was speaking about the crown jewels being hidden beneath Windsor Castle in a biscuit?
That's right. Yeah, that was her father, and actually in a biscuit tin.
In a biscuit tin.
Yeah, they were hiding them from the Nazis, but. Have you noticed about the ruby?
No,
the big ruby in the imperial crown, which actually was worn by Henry V in the Battle of Agincourt.
My goodness.
Yeah,
that must have been quite a disability to keep that on your head in a battle, I would have
No,
thought.
I think there was only the...
Only the ruby.
Only the ruby there for the so you can hear further. But you remember when you covering the Middle East, do you think the Queen and the institution monarchy still is selling point among the readership there, among people there for Britain?
I do, actually. And what I've seen myself, I think there are some countries. I remember being in Oman very shortly after Princess Diana had died.
Right, yeah.
And I can remember being approached in a hotel lobby by an Omani saying how very sorry he was, you know, which I thought was very sweet, you know, but I think it's for the whole family. Equally, I've been in Gulf countries when Prince Andrew, when he was working in the Ministry of Trade.
That's right, yeah.
And they were delighted to see him. So yeah, it does seem to carry some weight abroad.
Long live the Queen. So that would be a good point to take a break here. استراحة قصيرة ابقوا معنا نعود بها إليكم. Welcome back, Pat.
Thank you.
We've just been talking about the Guardian, how they actually decided to go tabloid. Now they are the same size like the Sun and like the other. It was a bit bizarre, the size they went to, which was like about 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm a big fan of this form, I must say, and I think, you know, I don't want to be told off by a lot of women for saying this, but I think women do find it easier to handle something of this size. You know, if you've got great long arms and you can, you know, as they do on the tube, they flash that paper out. It's impossible for me. That's perfect size for me.
Yeah, but you see, I'm myself, you know, I sort of always say tabloid and approach it, but it's actually economical. The Guardian last year lost 38 million, the 2 years before 149 million. And when you have a print run with all, you can print 5, 6, 7 newspapers, but to make it a special size, it's quite...
it's an unusual step, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
And what I always say, I still think the British Empire as a concept exists. But if the Telegraph goes tabloid, that would be the end of it.
That would be the end of it. I know you would feel like that. Yeah.
No, actually, your experience when the Middle East moved from print to on the internet, on internet, yeah, were they actually changing the readership? What was the reaction?
I was sorry that it had happened. I still feel a bit guilty it happened on my watch, that it went from print to online. But that was the indication. Print is so expensive.
It's expensive.
It's so expensive. And but there is a downside to it. I mean, we've found that advertisers particularly, like to see their ads in print. They don't like a banner that goes round and round. They want something they can hold and show to people. So definitely it had an adverse effect.
So that the effect is what you saved on the print, you lost on advertising?
Not entirely, but we lost some advertising for sure. You know, if you have a beautiful sports car, for example, you want to be able to look at it, you know, or they believe that the car.
Because a magazine, whether it's actually or a newspaper, it's in the doctor's surgery, dentist surgery, people see it for many days.
Yeah,
that's why the advertiser
much longer shelf life, yeah.
But I think, but what about the generational change? I mean, this week, the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, is criticizing the government on this business we're talking about, the first half of the giving out contracts, but he was doing it on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. It's the whole social media thing, isn't it? I mean, you ask about our readership. We could see noticeably that we were attracting more young people, and the kind of things they were interested in. I mean, we are on Facebook. We have a Facebook presence. I find now that things like videos, that of course you don't have an opportunity to do in print. Videos are a huge success with the young people, and if you look at where they've been, they've gone all over the Middle East, and it's immediate. After a day, of course, they've gone. They've been replaced by something else. But it's fascinating.
But you and I have children, some of them the same age, and you are, congratulations, youngest grandma of the year.
Thank
for
you.
The second time.
1 week yesterday.
Well, yes, congratulations. But the younger generation, with this sort of sense of entitlement, how are they going to finance the online? I mean, I still pay my shillings to buy my newspapers.
Of course.
How is the finance going to work on the
I wish I knew that. I mean, I can see that Facebook are making money with this boosting things. They're asking companies to boost their goods and things like that online. But I mean, I'm sure that it will find its way. It will settle down. The money's there to be made. Somebody will crack it, and they will be making it.
The new editor of The Guardian, the young lady, could not answer John Humphrey's questions on BBC Today programme on how much they saved, how they collect their money. She said, people actually donate to us because ideologically we represent them. But she could not really answer a specific question, how are you going to collect the money there? I mean, this is a big thing there, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is a problem. We, on the Middle East magazine, we decided that we wouldn't charge at all, that people really are out of the habit of, you read a third of a story and then they charge you for more. It annoys me. I don't know if it annoys you. That you have to find a credit card and fiddle about with that. So we just put it all online. And
but you see, subscribing to the Telegraph, I think it's about £4 or £6 or something a month, which is absolutely nothing. When you think a cup of coffee is £3.
Exactly. No, it's not.
But is it psychological with the young people, you know, with this new generation about pay?
Well, like, as you say, we have children of the same age. Do you find that sometimes when you're watching them read something, they don't want to get tucked into a story in the way that perhaps we did? It's very, they want it very quickly. And this action of moving things on all the time, I know they can't possibly have read it, you know? It's...
You and I, sort of, our generation, when we, well, sorry, you are younger.
Much younger. Adel, only just.
Much younger. No, but the old-fashioned journalists, we always put historic depth. I can't write a column without going back into history, putting definitions so on. But young people are not really interested, and I'm really worried. And that's why, perhaps, I mean, who is the age of people who were watching the coronation of the Queen? My children weren't. No. I was explaining to my son about the Battle of Agincourt and about all of this and so on. And he started, when I talked about the battle, which is 16, got interested.
Yeah. I mean, I've read your copy for a lot of years, and I know that you do put that element into it, which to me brings it alive. There are journalists writing, as you say, that you know, when you read the copy, you know they should have interjected there with some information from the past. And people can be interested, as you say. Your son was, when you touched that nerve, you brought him in. And I mean, there's a very popular television series at the moment on The Crown, isn't it?
The Crown, yeah.
My daughter's hooked. She's never shown any interest.
Because it is actually visual.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I hope you can pass the torch, because I think my generation is going the other way. So I hope you can pass the torch. But Lancaster, thank you very, very much for coming here. Wonderful.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Happy to be here.
That's all what we have, and see you next week. هذا كل ما لدينا، وشكرا للمتابعة. نشوفكم الأسبوع الجاي. ما تنسوش تتابعونا على تويتر أديل دارويش وعلى الفيسبوك من لندن. إلى اللقاء.